Hello everyone, I'm Aniket, an Arena International Master. Welcome to Tactical Motifs Episode 4. Today we are learning skewers. We'll first understand what a skewer is, then look at absolute and relative skewers, and finally go through all six classic examples from chess history. So, what is a skewer? A skewer is a tactical motif where a long range piece, usually a bishop, rook, or a queen, attack two pieces placed on the same line. The key idea is simple. The more valuable piece is attacked first, and once it moves, the less valuable piece behind it is lost. This is the opposite of a pin. Now let's see what's an absolute skewer. An absolute skewer involves the king. Because king is in check, it must move, and once the king moves, the piece behind it cannot be saved. These positions are completely forced. So what's happening here is the king and the queen are on the same diagonal. And here we can simply play bishop d5, which will be a check, and the bishop is protected by the queen. So now king has to move, and doesn't matter wherever the king moves, will simply win the queen and will simply win the game at the end. So that was an example of an absolute skewer. Now let's go to the next one. Now let's understand relative skewer. A relative skewer does not involve the king. The front piece can choose to stay, but moving it usually loses material because the piece behind is less valuable. There is a choice, but no good outcome. So now let's see what's happening in this position is the queen and the rook are on the same diagonal. And here we can simply move the bishop on f3. Now the queen is attacked, and if queen moves, the rook is attacked. And there is no good way to defend this position. So wherever the queen moves, we are going to win the rook, which is a completely winning position. So that was an example of an relative skewer. Now, let's move to the six classic examples. Position 1 is Emanuel Lasker versus Johann Hermann Bauer from Amsterdam 1889. Lasker was world champion for 27 years, the longest in the chess history. Bauer was a strong German master of his era and is remembered mainly through his classical game. Now let's see what's happening in this position is. So in this position, white is clearly better because black king is definitely not a safe piece and white is having two extra pawns and also rook versus bishop. And black's last move was to simply go back on g7 and here it's white to play. So pause the video and find the best move for white. Here, Lasker see this pin and he tried to exploit this pin. So he started with e6 and this pawn cannot be captured this pawn because that is pin. So now he played rook b7, just protecting on f7, and here he played queen g6. Again the same idea, putting the pressure on the pin piece, and this pawn cannot capture it because that's a pin. So here he played f6, and here black simply missed a skewer, and Lasker take advantage of that. And Lasker played rook takes f6, bishop captures, queen captures back, and now king has to move. So king e8, and here, did you see this rook is unprotected? Lasker saw that, and he simply take advantage of it. And he started with queen h8 check, king e7, queen g7 check, and now it's a check to the king. King has to move, and it doesn't matter where the king will move. We are going to simply win the rook, and that is an absolute skewer. So he simply moved the king to e6, but after queen takes b7, in few moves, black resigned the game and white won the game. Now, let's go to the next one. Position 2 is Roberts James Fischer versus James Sherwin from New Jersey State Championship 1957. Fischer became the 11th World Chess Champion and one of the greatest players ever. Sherwin was a respected American master and an important figure in US chess at that time. So, in this position, Fischer played h4, and his idea is he wants to play h5 and attack on the king side. And here, Black replied with knight f6. Pause the video here and find the best move for white. And here, Fischer sacrificed his knight on h7. And his idea is simple. If king takes, the knight on g6 will be pinned by the queen, and here he can simply play bishop f4, which is a skewer on the queen and the rook. Wherever the queen moves will win the rook, and that's a winning game. So that is why king can't capture the knight. So Black has to capture with the knight, and Fischer played h5, attacking his knight on h4. And if this knight go to e7, the problem is still the bishop f4. So here he tried to be tricky, and here he played knight h4, and he was expecting maybe Fischer will take this knight and not skewer his queen and the rook. And the idea is, and Fischer can take the knight and still be fine, but that's not the best. Because what happens is, if Fischer go with g takes h4, there's a bishop e7, and after bishop takes b7, rook takes, and simply a queen e4 and rook d7, we will get this position where this king might be in trouble, and Fischer is having not a good pawn structures. So that is why Fischer didn't go for that. And here, in this position, Fischer simply played bishop f4, and he simply skewered the queen and the rook, and eventually, after a few moves, Fischer simply won the game. Now, let's go to the next one. Position 3 is Viswanathan Anand versus Vassily Ivanchuk from Linares 1991. Anand is a five-time world champion known for speed and universal style. Ivanchuk is considered one of the most creative players in chess history. And here, we got this position where Anand is simply just winning. And here, Ivanchuk simply moved the bishop back and he is attacking on the queen. And here, Anand didn't continue the game with the best reply. So pause the video here and find the best move for white. And here, Anand should have simply sacrificed his queen on f7, and here queen has to capture it back. And after queen captures, there is simply a rook a7 check, king c6, and he could have just captured the queen back, and he could have just simply got this position where it's rook versus bishop, and having these two passed pawns, completely winning endgame. He didn't go with the same idea, and he just played some different variation, but eventually he won the game. Now, let's go to the next one. Position 4 is Nigel Short versus Anatoly Karpov from Candidates Tournament 1992. Short was a World Championship challenger and a leading player of the 1990s. Karpov was a world champion for 16 years and one of the great positional player ever. So here, Short played bishop b4 attacking on a queen. And here, Karpov did a blunder and he just captured the pawn on d3. Pause the video here and find the best move for white. And here, Short played rook d2, and that is again a skewer, and that is a relative skewer. The rook is attacking the queen, and if queen moves anywhere, maybe like on b5, rook will simply capture the rook, and if other rooks takes back, the queen captures. And here he's simply winning. And Karpov has realized that, and here he sacrificed his queen on d2 and hoping for best, but unfortunately, Short simply captured back with bishop, and after knight takes e4, he played rook c2, and here in this position, Karpov resigned the game. Now, let's go to the next one. Position 5 is Nigel D. Short versus Rafael from Tilburg 1991. Short again during his peak years. Rafael was a World Championship candidate and one of the strongest Armenian grandmasters. So here we got this position where king and queen are on the same diagonal. But it looks like now there's no way to give a check and win the queen, because if you try playing queen c3 and try to win the queen, king will simply go to g6 and protect the queen. But there's a way to win the queen here. Pause your video and find the best move for white. And in this position, Short played bishop e5 check, sacrificing his bishop for a queen. Black can't say no to this sacrifice, because if king moves on g6 or anywhere else, he will just win the queen anyways. So black has to capture this bishop, and here queen c3. Simply attacking on the king, and whenever the king moves, will simply win the queen, and white will simply win the game. And that is why black in this position simply resigned the game. Now let's go to the next one. Position 6 is Evgeni Sveshnikov versus Jan Timman from USSR versus Netherlands match 1984. Sveshnikov was the creator of Sveshnikov Sicilian and a leading Soviet grandmaster. Timman was the strongest Western player of 1980s and a world championship challenger. And here, if we see this position, it is better because his king is safe. His pieces are very active, and see the black pieces. The queen is stuck here. The knight just goes back. He is planning to move the bishop and castle, but till then, white is gonna take advantage of it. And here, white started with c4, striking in the center, and black here simply captured back the pawn, which is simply a blunder. So pause the video here and find the best move for white. The best move is rook takes c4 and black played queen b5. After queen takes b5 and bishop takes b5, it looks like black is skewering the white. He's attacking the rook, and whenever rook moves, he can exchange the bishops. And if that happened after bishop e7, he would castle, and he is fine here. But here, this is a mistake to do the skewer. And the reason is he simply captured on c8. It's a check, so now rook has to capture it back, and he also captured the bishop. So basically, he has given up a rook for a knight and bishop, which is usually better. And in this position, it's definitely better. And here, he has created an imbalance of this, and eventually, after a few moves, he won the game very easily. If this episode helped you understand skewers better, subscribe to this channel for more tactical motifs, classic games, and practical chess improvement. See you in the next one.